Hey everybody, it's Crimson here, and I have a clip I wanted to show you from my playthrough of Horizon Zero Dawn. So, warning, spoilers ahead. Now, at this point in the game, I'm about 10 or 11 hours in, and I'm trying to clear out this area of corrupted machines. So, I'm having trouble killing them, so I'm going into this 20th attempt with a real fuck it attitude. So, I decided to just start, pecking off this guy, hitting his weak spot, and getting him down. Now, usually what I would do with this fight was I would try and pick off the guys one at a time, because whenever you start attacking this one, you'll have about 4 or 5 other corrupted rams show up and start dealing damage to you. Now this guy isn't hard to dodge his attacks, but when you get like 4 other enemies in there, it gets a little bit hectic. So my strategy is to try and harpoon them and get them locked down to kind of mitigate the damage that's coming in at me. So that's what I end up doing here. Usually I have to worry about Biggin, but he's just over there wandering around assless. So I don't know what he's doing. So I just continue to pick off the smaller guys after I harpoon them. Now, here in a second, a couple of them are going to show up, and I'm going to try and keep them stunned with harpoons and shot grenades. Now, the biggest problem that I was having was when you go into a critical hit animation on a downed enemy, everything is happening in real time. So if you are doing animation, the monsters are wandering around you, and if you get hit while you're in that animation, it will hurt you, and it will actually cancel you out of the animation, and you won't do any damage most of the time. So I go ahead and I finish that one off, and then I continue harpooning these guys after I finish this guy who's been downed by my shot grenades. So he's done, and then I just try and avoid both of their hits and then Biggin at the same time, which he's not being too much of a problem this run around. So I finally get these guys locked down here in a second, and then after I get them locked down, I figured I'm going to need to deal with Biggin. So you have exploding tripwires, which I thought, oh, I'll just make a couple of those and I'll put it right in front of him. So if he decides to move towards me, then he'll just hit those and he'll give me a second to get away. So I make him right there, and I'll go dodge that, and I go pop and pop, and that puts a exploding tripwire right in front of him. Run over here to kill this guy, and run over here to kill this guy. But of course, wouldn't you know it, Biggin decides he's just going to walk right around the tripwire. But that's fine, because I can set him up for another tripline explosion here in a second. So just run behind it, and then I'll start making a couple other things I'm going to need to down him. So my strategy with these guys is you harpoon them, and then you knock them down, and then they have a couple of weak spots. My favorite weak spot is on his underbelly, but first I need to get to it. So I'll harpoon him, get him down, and then once he's down, I'm going to hit him with a couple of frost grenades, and that's going to brittle his armor up and let me do more damage with my basic arrow attack. So I'm going to run over here to his underbelly and fire and knock that plate off, and then he has 3 fuselages that show up, and I'm going to hit one of those with fire arrow, and it's going to explode right there, and that does a whole lot of damage. So I'm going to try and hit a couple other ones, but I've done so much damage to him at this point that by the time I actually end up hitting it, I just kill him anyways. But I was super proud of